Okay, well, hello everyone. Like to welcome you all to our Founder Essentials Masterclass today, and we are exploring navigating the funding landscape for founders. So we have a terrific experts with us today. So we have Tashmia Ismail-Saville, and she is the Chief Business Development Officer from Mitacs. And for the past 15 years, Tashmia has been building experience and expertise in the innovation ecosystem, with a special focus on inclusive and impactful innovation for economic development. Tashmia was appointed as the CBDO at Mitacs in 2022, and she came to Mitacs following her role as the Vice President in the Partner Solutions Group at Mars, which is, of course, the largest urban innovation hub in North America. And prior to that, she served as the founding CEO of the NPO Yes, the Youth Employment Service in South Africa, where she worked on innovative policy design and implementation. She's held academic posts at the Kelley School of Business, Erasmus Rotterdam School of Management, and as the innovation faculty member and head of the Inclusive Markets program at the highest rated business school on the African continent, the Gordon Institute of Business Science, where she now serves on the advisory board. And joining her today is Jillian Murray, who is the Director of Strategic Partnerships on Mitacs Business Development Team. So we will get into the presentation. We welcome you both, and this is a really important topic that will be of interest to many of our founders and our followers out there. So I will hand it over to you, Tash, and Jill to take it from here.
Thank you so much, Tara. We really appreciate having this time to address your very special founders with International Women's Day coming up. It's a good time to be doing this presentation. Jillian and I belong to an organization called Mitacs, and Mitacs is a key player in connecting stakeholders in Canada's innovation ecosystem. I say Canada, but we also have a network that extends beyond our borders to about 20 countries, where we enable international talent and knowledge networks, global knowledge networks, to move through Mitacs programs. If you'll allow me to share a deck that we've prepared, and the share button has disappeared.
Should be green in the center.
Here we go, here we go. Okay, so you can see that. What Jillian and I thought we'd share today was just first talking about Canada's productivity challenge, Canada's innovation challenge, just to put into context how important it is to be able to navigate the funding landscape and the deep need for innovators like the audience for this particular webinar and your members to be able to do what they do best and get all the support that's available in the ecosystem to help them on this entrepreneurial journey. So the first part of this presentation is very depressing. I apologize for that. It gets better as we go, because you'll see that there are a lot of supports in the ecosystem that will help us turn this situation around. And Jillian has got some nice case studies to share to show when we are successful that we can be very successful in tapping into these resources to grow these enterprises. So here we go. Canada has a competitiveness conundrum. We have rising labor costs, tighter margins. There is a risk aversion in Canadian industry, and this stunts Canadian companies' growth and their R&D spend. We've got lots of data, so nobody can argue with these statements. Unfortunately, the data are very clear. If we take a look at this image, this graph on the right, and we look at business expenditure on research and development in Canada, or BIRD, as a percentage of GDP, we see a decline in Canada, but we also see the gap between our expenditure on R&D and other OECD countries. We see that gap widen. If we look at labor productivity and labor costs in Canada, we can see unit labor costs are going up and productivity is coming down. Let's look at our country against a whole lot of other economies in the OECD. This looks at 2020 and projects labor productivity to 2030. And you can see Canada sitting all the way down here. Capital per worker is in the pale blue, which is low. Labor efficiency is in the darker blue. And most importantly, labor productivity, which is the circle, is right at the bottom of this OECD group of countries and is projected to continue to decline even further. Let's look at entrepreneurship and angel investment per company, very relevant to this group of people. If we look at entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurship index from BDC and new entrepreneurs annually, the right-hand side of this is new entrepreneurs, and we can see how this is declining over time. And if we look at the left axis, it's new entrepreneurial activity. This is this line, which we can see is also declining. Then if we look at angel investment per company, we can see that Canada's is considerably less than the US. So we see this macroeconomic data showing productivity decline, and we see entrepreneurial activities also on the decline. So we're trending in the wrong direction. More of the same here. Labor productivity declining. Canada underinvesting. This is some data from TD Bank. Compared with the US, we see that we are underinvesting in our workers. And here again is research and development as a percentage of GDP. And you can see Canada's line in this green is lower than all of these economies above. We just see Italy sitting below us. This entrepreneurial spirit is irreplaceable in looking at economic growth. Our founders, the people having the ideas, the creativity, the drive and commitment to start new businesses and grow businesses, that is a national asset that needs to be looked after and supported. Entrepreneurs are solving important problems and they're increasing Canada's productivity through the innovative goods and services that you're building in your businesses. And when you drive productivity and innovate, you raise the standard of living for all of us. And GDP per capita, real GDP per capita rises. So in summary, after that data to show you the real need that exists, founders like you and businesses like yours really matter. And it's vital for Canada's economic strength that you succeed. And to make sure that you do, we are presenting today some ways that'll give you the tools you need, give you the support that you need to make your company as productive and innovative as possible. And there are many resources in the ecosystem that can help, but we do understand that navigating to find those resources whilst you're trying to build and grow a business can be quite a daunting task. We've got about 100 business development advisors across Canada that are an email away, that are willing to work with you and help you understand how you can tap into some of these resources. So what is it that we do as Mitacs? We connect Canadian businesses with world-leading innovators, targeted capital, and the right talent at the right time. We'll talk a little bit more about what that means. So we're able to take top talent, highly qualified personnel from post-secondary institutions across Canada. We have relationships with over 218 universities and colleges. And we're able to connect a researcher and a post-secondary student into your business. They get embedded in your business, and we co-invest in the projects to cover half of their salary costs. They come in units of about 4 to 6 months at a time, and we will help you pay for that time that they spend in your business. by using federal and provincial dollars and some of your dollars to be able to keep that significant talent in your business. And we're also able to grow the project as your business grows. So the business development advisor that you work with will help you roadmap your innovation needs, and they'll cycle in new talent as the business needs change. So it's quite a powerful model because of this flexibility, because you're not stuck in one place. We're able to help you grow the talent pool and shift your talent pool as the business needs change. So we understand the important players to make a functional innovation system work. There's obviously the entrepreneur, the people that will hopefully be watching this recording. We have R&D leaders, which are sitting at colleges and universities across the country. We have the federal and provincial governments that are very interested in supporting the competitiveness of industry and their small businesses. We have capital. Mitacs has been given, just from the federal government alone, close to $1 billion in the since 2021 to 2029. And then we have a very deep network of enterprises across Canada, over 11,000 enterprises that we've worked with. And so we're at the center of connecting all of these important players to you and your needs. Now, we have some fantastic data that our evaluations team looked at using Stats Canada data, where they compared groups of Mitacs enterprises, that is enterprises supported by Mitacs talent, against a group of enterprises that look and feel similar, but that didn't get Mitacs support. And when you compare the two groups, those that were able to use Mitacs services saw an 16% increase in sales, 11% increase in labor productivity, a 14% increase in wages and salaries, 9% greater employment, and increased revenue by 9%. So when you use our services and bring this highly qualified person from a university, from a post-secondary into your business, these are the impacts businesses see. That talent is such a fundamental part of growing and developing your business. What our data also shows is that 66% of the businesses that work with us see so much benefit that they continue collaborating with Mitacs for future expertise. 51% of them commercialize the R&D that Mitacs helped them to realize. 47% are solving an important societal problem, and we have businesses working in clean tech, on net zero, food security, education, oceans economy. So, our projects really are in high impact areas and areas that drive Canadian competitiveness. 17% of our businesses adopt a game-changing new technology, and 21% move to hire their Mitacs intern as a permanent member of their team. Another stat that's also very interesting is that many of our interns actually go on to also found companies. So there's a lovely paying it forward model where by giving this person experience in your business, you actually trigger the development of new enterprises. And if you look at the landscape and you look at our activity over time, you'll see that this picture that you're seeing is an actual map of the connections that we've made across Canada in the innovation ecosystem, connecting academic expertise into enterprises across the country. It's a dense network. By partnering with Mitacs, you're not just accessing funding, but you really are connecting into a knowledge network that can drive your business. And I will hand it over to Gillian from here to talk a little bit more about not just Mitacs services and how we work, but to expand to the broader funding landscape and how we can open you up to even more opportunity. Thanks, Gillian.
Thank you very much, Tash. So hello, everybody. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about how we continue to help companies de-risk their R&D. So Tash mentioned a number of these, but I just want to reiterate a few points that by engaging with the best researchers and talent at our post-secondary institutions, by recruiting that highly talented and skilled student to your company, and by the injection of funding by Mitacs to help support the cost, you will be able to innovate and grow. And as you can see on the left-hand side, we support projects all the way across the continuum of innovation. So within our program suite, which we'll get to in a minute, we have a number of initiatives available to suit pretty much any need that you have. As far as venture-backed startups, we can help to accelerate your R&D efforts by accessing that top talent and fostering strategic partnerships with key people in the ecosystem, not just within the academic ecosystem, B2B, and some of the other funding landscape pieces that we'll talk about in a minute. This will not only enhance your value proposition as a startup, but also potentially increase your valuation, leading you to have better outcome for your VC investors. And as far as making yourselves more attractive to VC firms, we make it feasible for you to pursue ambitious projects without overburdening your capital resources. So you may be asking, well, how do we do this? Tash, can you please go to the next slide?
Okay, this is what it does. It gets stuck. And I will reshare. Apologies, Gillian. I will
No
get
worries.
to the next screen. It's coming. It's coming. There we go.
Fantastic. So how do we go about accomplishing this for you? Well, as Tash mentioned, we bring together companies with a post-secondary institution. So with the more than 100 of me and my colleagues, advisors on the ground across Canada, we really have our finger on the pulse of the type of research going on at academic institutions and what's going on in our local regional ecosystems. So we can help to match make that for you. We also provide a 50% co-fund toward the internship that you're looking to bring the student in for into your project. Not only do we have R&D resources in terms of and funding resources within ourselves, but we also serve as a hub and spoke model to other funding opportunities as well that could even stretch your dollar even further. These interns, you can think of them a little bit like Lego blocks as far as the internships. You can build something to the size, skill, and scope that you need. We are also sector and academic discipline agnostic. So if your project needs a plethora of expertise, we can bring all of that together for you. Doesn't need to be from one institution. The idea here is we can build you an ecosystem of research expertise to help your company grow and innovate and reach your goals. Now, as far as, oh, come back one more, Tash. So on this slide here, as I said, you can think of us as Canada's hub for collaborative R&D. So what you're seeing here is a series of both federal, provincial, and individual funding opportunity or funding agencies that are partnered with Mitacs to offer sort of co-leveraging or streamlined opportunities to ensure that companies are reaching more funding opportunities within a singular option. So one that I'll point out right here, we just signed an MOU with the Digital Technology Supercluster. So you may remember these from a few years ago. There's 5 of them. We just signed an opportunity with them to support technology projects. We have a new initiative going with Lab to Market, which supports startups. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of provincial and regional opportunities. We have ties into each one of these. So in the cases where we be able to support a joint funding initiative, we will help you do that and guide you through that process. If there's something in here that you need access to that we aren't currently working with, we're also happy to make that ecosystem connection for you to ensure that you are growing and that you are accessing what you need for your business. Next slide, please. So I wanted to end here on just 2 case studies, if you will. So one from PEI, the company is Aslan Renewables. So they've partnered with us to do a project on its mission to harness energy from a wide range of carbon neutral sources, including the PEI wastewater infrastructure. So we were an invaluable partner to them because we provided them with the R&D expertise and talent they needed from the academic ecosystem to develop their clean climate and safe technologies. Next slide, please. And from the entrepreneurship side of things, we have a former intern, Ursa Wigington, who was conducting research with a company at Queen's University. She then took that technology, founded her own company, Mitacs, and now that technology is moving into clinical trials, and Ursa herself is now using Mitacs interns and recruiting them from institutions to help grow her company and meet their technology goals. Tash, I'll pass it back to you to wrap us up.
Great, thanks, Gillian. So hopefully from this short presentation, you can see that Mitacs is not just going to help your organization with the highly qualified personnel and skills that you need in that very niche, cutting edge area of research and development that you're working on, but we're also collaborating with a whole lot of other funding agencies to make sure that you get this full wraparound support and that you're able to tap into a wealth of funding opportunities, know-how, and ecosystems. We've supported companies in building international markets through some of our programs and partnerships. We've helped them connect with into supply chains with larger organizations to find market there. And so it's not just in the funding landscape that these connections stop. This business development advisor is really going to help you with your innovation road mapping and the connections that you'll need to go beyond any services we can provide. You know, we hope that post this presentation, we're able to form a partnership with Sandpiper to continuously offer your female founders and your members that kind of support going forward. Thanks so much.
Thank you both. Such great information throughout, and certainly just a really valuable resource for all. I just wanted to open the floor and see if anyone did have any questions at this time. You know, there may not be any. But of course, they are the team is available at any point to answer any follow-up questions. There are a lot of specific details kind of within what was shared. So we will post this presentation tonight, and we will. This is the beginning of lots of dialogue, and becoming a really or continuing to be a great resource for founders. And if you know of a founder who would be interested in this information, we encourage you to reach out directly to us, and we will share the link as a follow-up. But we really sincerely thank the Mitacs team, Tash and Gillian, for joining us today and sharing this information and taking the time. I know, Tash, you were in a training session and stepped out to do that, so we greatly appreciate it. So thank you, everyone. If there's no questions, but stay tuned for our next one, and appreciate you coming today.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you.